just in time for Pittsburgh. Imagine that. The rookies don't know what to expect, but the veterans do. They've been amped up all week. It's the Steelers and the Ravens from Baltimore in high definition by Sony. Next.
Presenting Subway Fresh Buzz, a fresh look at teams creating a...
As it always is when the Steelers are in town, Baltimore is alive and electric. The Steelers and the Ravens. Pittsburgh has won the opening toss. Brian Billick's Ravens will kick it away. Billick in his 8th season as the head man here in Baltimore. And of course, engineered a championship season that culminated in Super Bowl 35. Joey Porter and the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens. There is action aplenty in store. Najee Davenport is deep as we get underway. Tripped up short of the 20-yard line. Ovi Mahaley with the tackle to go today and warns its flank to the near side of the field. Here comes a blitz on first down. Roethlisberger in the flat to Kreider out of the backfield. And not very much, just across the 20-yard line. Baltimore's 3-4 defense includes Trevor Price up front. The 4-time Pro Bowler has 4 sacks in the Ravens' last 4 games. Safety DeJuan Landry's a rookie. He has 3. 2nd and 7. Parker trying to get outside, won't make it. Terrell Suggs.
Well, certainly the Ravens' plan from the beginning is don't let Willie Parker get loose. And look at the pursuit down the line of scrimmage. Nobody in a purple shirt was blown off the ball. If one guy wasn't going to make that tackle, there were 2 or 3 other guys waiting in line. And now right off the bat, Big Ben gets a 3rd and long.
Najee Davenport in the backfield with Roethlisberger on 3rd and 10. Under pressure, throwing, dropped the ball. Davenport had it and dropped it as Roethlisberger threw a crowd.
Well, 3 plays, 0 yards, and that is I don't know how Ray figured it in his mind that this was going to get started. I guess excluding an interception run back for a touchdown or something, that had to be pretty much true to form.
B.J. Sams had 212 total return yards against Atlanta last week. He stands at his own 40. Chris Gardocki has never had a punt block in the regular season. Gets this one away. Sams from the 43. Midfield. Breaking to the outside and up the sideline. Finally tackled at about the 15-yard line. Anthony Madison, the rookie, made the stop. We have a penalty marker back upfield.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 34 of the return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down Baltimore.
Well, let's take a look at B.J. Sams starting in the middle, going to make his cut to the right. And Ovi Mahaley, I believe, the player that gets called for the block in the back. Keep in mind that Sams last week had 212 return yards in their game against Tampa Bay. So B.J. Sams has been hot. Unfortunately for Baltimore, though, an illegal block brought that back.
41-yard return nullified. Baltimore begins at its own 44. McNair will throw. Short to Derek Mason. Mason across midfield. Steve McNichol of that Steeler defense for much of the day today. 7-yard gain makes it 2nd and 3. Jamal Lewis's first carry of the day. For not much, maybe to the 48-yard line. Due to the coach's decision, at least at the start. 3rd and 2. You saw Joey Porter, how fired up he was. Not that that's any different at the start of a game. McNair throws outside, complete, 1st down. Derek Mason on the reception.
No, you're not watching a Tennessee Titan game. You're watching a Baltimore Raven game. Steve McNair going to Derek Mason. These guys spent so many years together in Tennessee, so obviously the timing, the comfortability, it's all there between these two veteran ball players, and they are both just tickled pink to be reunited here in Baltimore on this good of a football team.
1st down from the Pittsburgh 42. Play fake. McNair outside. Got his man. Out of bounds inside the 25-yard line is Mark Clayton, the 2nd-year wide receiver from Oklahoma.
Well, Bryant McFadden getting the start today because of the fact that Ike Taylor is getting benched, and they're going at him right off of it. Take a look at Clayton really selling the deep route and then breaking it off. McFadden not able to recover in time.
18-yard pickup. 1st down now at the 24 of the Steelers. Jamal Lewis off the left side and stacked up at about the 20-yard line.
Well, you can see that Steve McNair has loosened things up a little bit by throwing the football, but still the bread and butter of this team has got to be getting the rock to Jamal Lewis. He has shown some signs, even though his yards per carry is not where he'd like it to be at only 3.5 yards per carry. He's shown some signs the last couple games of really starting to look like the old Jamal Lewis. The legs are coming up, the knees are driving. Got to get him involved.
Double tight end for McNair. On 2nd and 6. Little pump fake. He's got a man open. Touchdown.
What a great job of protection by the Ravens as the Steelers came right up the middle with the blitz and got snuffed.
Todd Heap on the receiving end, his 6th TD catch of the season.
The Steelers sell out right up the middle, and look how well they are blocked. I mean, they are taken care of. McNair can step into it, and that's not a wide receiver. That's a tight end with a double move, wide open. And the Pittsburgh corners really get exploited.
Matt Stover's kick is good. Steve McNair, 4 for 4, 51-yard drive, 20-yard touchdown pass, 7-0 Baltimore. Todd Heap on the receiving end of Steve McNair's 20-yard touchdown pass as Baltimore went 56 yards in 3:06. And Deshae Townsend, boy, the epitome of what Bill Cowher told us last night. He said we have not had consistent play from the cornerback position this year. Najee Davenport will let it roll into and through the end zone for a touchback. Ben Roethlisberger goes back to work from the 20-yard line after this. Story with CBS Sports Line Sunday Game Center. Follow every game with lightning fast scoring and play the hottest head-to-head trivia game on the web. Trivia Tower, it's all free at cbssportsline.com. Roethlisberger back to work from his own 20-yard line. Willie Parker looking for room, pops to the outside, 25, 30, out to the 32-yard line. And a 1st down for Fast Willie.
Well, there's vintage Willie Parker. That extraordinary speed of his allows him to take something that's off tackle and then bounce it outside. And he got a tremendous block. Hines Ward made an outstanding block. Even Cedric Wilson working for him downfield. But that is that explosiveness of Willie Parker. That's why the guy came into the game with that 4.5-yard average, you see. And over 900 yards. The kid is fat.
12 yards on the pickup, 1st down from the 32. Parker again. And not so much this time. The rookie out of Oregon, Kaladi Nata with the stop.
A couple of rookies starting on this Baltimore defense. Nata there, number 92, starts at one of the defensive tackles, and Dewan Landry also starts at safety. And there are rookies sprinkled throughout this Baltimore lineup. They have a lot of older veterans, but they've got an awful lot of kids that are producing as well.
On 2nd and 10, Parker tries the right side. Stacked up, not far beyond the line of scrimmage, and nose tackle Kelly Gregg led the way.
Well, Baltimore's always had big tackles. You know, Tony Saragusa comes to mind. You didn't see Saragusa making a lot of plays at the sideline. What they've got in Nata and Kelly Gregg are two defensive tackles that can really run. That's pretty doggone good hustle down the line of scrimmage by a 300-plus pound defensive tackle that time in Kelly Gregg.
3rd and 10. And we get a timeout. Back to Baltimore after this. Then the Steelers have 3rd and 10 for Roethlisberger. On the move now, throws incomplete. Cedric Wilson, the intended receiver, but it wasn't even close, and Pittsburgh will punt.
Well, this crowd here in Baltimore is so savvy, and they love their defensive football team. The crowd chants defense, defense, makes all sorts of noise. And this guy, there's not a hotter return man in the league right now than B.J. Sams.
Penalty nullified, a 41-yard return last time. He stands at his own 28. Gardocki gets a better kick away this time. From his own 15, Sams is brought down at the 10. Number 27, Anthony Smith, the rookie out of Syracuse, with a fine special teams play. And McNair and company are back to work after this. For Ravens with the football and the lead with 8:12 to play in the first quarter. Jamal Lewis set behind Steve McNair, who operates from his own 11-yard line. And this is Lewis. Punishing a runner out across the 15 to the 17-yard line.
You don't often see Pittsburgh defenders going backwards after contact with a running back, but that's what happens here. Take a look here going to the left side. Jamal Lewis. There's Troy Polamalu. He only gets a shoulder on him, and then Bryant McFadden has the bad luck of sticking his head in there, and he gets completely trampled by Jamal Lewis.
2nd and 4. McNair looks to the near side, throws complete out across the 25-yard line to Derek Mason for a first down to JB in New York.
Hey, Greg, Drew Brees coming off of a 510-yard performance last week. Gets started quickly here in big-time fashion. 76 yards, Greg, to Devery Henderson for the 7-0 Saints score. I guess Arthur Blank has that evaluation sheet working already. Back to Greg and Dan.
You betcha. The Saints with a week 3 victory over Atlanta, 23-3, and Falcons lost to these Ravens a week ago, 24-10. Here's Jamal Lewis again, running room. Out to the 35 and close to another first down. Joey Porter making the tackle there.
Boy, and right now we are seeing some real balance with this Baltimore offense. Jamal Lewis starting to the right, and then he sees the whole block and cuts back into a huge hole over on the left-hand side of the Baltimore offensive line. He hasn't enjoyed a lot of success. The steel curtain has been lowered on Jamal Lewis, less than 3 yards per carry and only 14 yards his longest run. But right now, this Baltimore offense, what a good start to a football game.
And what a downhill runner Lewis is when he gets on a roll. Straight ahead is Ovi Mahaley, and that is enough for a first down.
And right now, Greg, this is something that not many of us see on a regular basis. This Pittsburgh defense is getting handled at the line of scrimmage. They are getting moved back, and Brian Billick, now the offensive coordinator, and one of the great defensive minds in the history, the history of the National Football League, Dick LeBeau. Brian Billick referred to him as the godfather of some of the most important schemes used in the NFL today.
McNair, play fake, has all kinds of time, and now the ball popped in the air and incomplete. Joey Porter was the first one to hit McNair, and we have a penalty marker down.
That's a quarterback who overstayed his welcome in the pocket.
Here's Gene Steratore.
Holding, defense, number 26, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The penalty is on to Shea Townsend.
Well, you touched on it earlier, Greg, about the problems the Steelers are having at the corner position. Here's Derek Mason breaking off to the inside against Townsend, and that was past the 5-yard, and you grabbed him. You could hit him if you're within the 5 yards, but you can't grab him enough where you turn his shoulder. That's just way too easy to bring the flag.
McNair for Lewis. And Lewis close to midfield. Bryant McFadden made the stop.
Well, we want to pick up a few yards. Well, maybe why don't we go left behind Jonathan Ogden? Let's see if that works out. And take a look at that hole to the inside. Jason Brown, the left guard. Mike Flynn, the center. Right now, they have the Pittsburgh defense on their heels.
Hello, baby, I'm in it.
Ike Taylor looking on from the sideline. He's the one benched today. From the 49, 2nd and 5, and 2 tight ends for McNair. It's going to be Lewis again. This time Lewis tripped up in the backfield. Number 76, Chris Hoke, bursting through.
Well, penetration kills any running play, and that's what Hoke did there. He's able to knife through. Just beats the block of left guard Jason Brown. And Jamal Lewis never had a chance. That contact's taken place a couple yards in the backfield.
Lewis goes to the bench on 3rd and 7, loss of 2 on the play. Musa Smith and Mike Anderson in the backfield with McNair, who work out of the shotgun. On the run, penalty marker down, throwing incomplete.
We're almost surely going to get a holding call against Baltimore. Somebody grabbed Troy Polamalu when he was coming in on the blitz.
Holding, offense, number 62. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
That's Mike Flynn, the center. Take a look at him right in the middle. And yep, he's the one who locks up on Troy Polamalu right there. And look, he turns him all the way around and holding on to him. Too easy. That happened right in front of Gene Steratore.
Sir, it's Santonio Holmes standing back at his own 10-yard line. The rookie out of Ohio State. And rookie Sam Cook set to kick it away. Fair catch called for by Holmes and made at the 16-yard line. 3:48 to play, first quarter. Still a 1-touchdown lead for the Ravens. The Amazing Race, a real gladiator chariot race, and the beauty queens are on everyone's hit list. A new Amazing Race tonight after 60 minutes. Nice hat.
I rarely match the zebra print with my purple.
But you're young yet. Look at the numbers for Roethlisberger and McNair. Pittsburgh, 2 drives, 7 plays, 12 yards, 2 punts. They are in need of an offensive spark. 3:48 to play in the first quarter. Roethlisberger throws far side. Hines Ward, first catch of the day and out of bounds.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger has had an interesting year. I think everybody knows what happened prior to the season. Then the appendectomy. Here we're taking a look at some of his numbers, which, take a look at them. They're awfully good. 12th in the NFL in touchdowns. Here's where it goes sour, though. His 17 interceptions, the most in the National Football League. That puts the Steelers at a -9, tied for last in the NFL, and the giveaway, takeaway differential, hard to win with those kind of numbers.
2nd and 2. Parker straight ahead, looking for a first down, and appears to have it. Across the 25 to the 27-yard line.
Real critical that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get some production out of Hines Ward. That last play on first down, he went in and ran a sideline pattern, and he's getting an awful lot of room there underneath by the Steelers. When he came out and warmed up this morning, he looked stiff, he looked slow. He's obviously playing on a knee that maybe is only 50 or 60%.
Roethlisberger straight drop on first down, sideline pass, and that is incomplete. Ward, the intended receiver there.
And at that time, Chris McAllister sat on the route. And if I was a Baltimore defensive back and I'm facing Hines Ward, I don't think he's putting on an act. I don't think he's trying to lull you to sleep. He just doesn't have much going today. Very valiant that Hines Ward is out here trying to play, but I would expect every Raven corner to sit on anything that Hines Ward tries to run.
You mentioned his warm-ups, and we watched him, Dan, and he did not look game ready, but he's giving it a go.
Well, what else would you expect from Hines Ward?
2nd and 10. Play clock down to 2. Roethlisberger over the middle, and that's complete to the tight end Heath Miller for a first down across the 40 to the 43. And we go back to the NFL today in New York and JB.
All right, Greg, Cincinnati trying to keep its playoff hopes alive, capitalizing here on a 14-play, 69-yard drive. Rudy Johnson with the 1-yard run, 8th rushing touchdown of the season for Rudy. Cincy up 7-0 over Cleveland. Greg and Dan.
We're talking about the rivalry here. How about the battle for Ohio?
And the Cleveland Browns are better than a lot of people might think. Pittsburgh had to scratch their way to a win last week.
Here's Willie Parker on first down, looking for running room, and not much to be had there as he comes up short of the 45-yard line. JB has more. Back to New York.
Hey, Greg, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns for the Saints. This one by Deuce McAllister, who says, "Don't forget me." 14-0 Saints on top of Atlanta in Atlanta. Back to Greg and Dan.
All right, JB, boy, those Atlanta Falcons trying to figure out what was wrong. These Ravens sacked Michael Vick 5 times last week. 2nd and 8. Here come the Ravens. Roethlisberger down at his 33. Jarrett Johnson, Bart Scott leading the charge up the middle.
And when you say up the middle, Greg, you're talking about the worst place for pressure from a quarterback. Right off the bat, you can see right in his face is Johnson, and then comes Scott off the edge. He just goes right around Willie Parker, and coming at him in the middle and the edge, Ben had no shot at all.
3rd and 20. Roethlisberger on a slant across the 45 to Hines Ward, but that will be short of a first down. And we are 25 seconds from the end of the first quarter.
Really can't praise Hines Ward enough for his effort here this afternoon. He's got a couple of receptions in the first quarter, and he is living proof of guys playing hurt.
In our conversations with the Steelers last night, no one really wanted to commit. They're saying, well, we think he might. Hines came in and said, I'm playing.
Well, his entire week's worth was running about 6 or 7 patterns, about 3/4 speed in Friday's practice.
That's the end of the first quarter, 7-0 Baltimore. We're back after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 41. And open, touchdown.
This is Fast Willie Parker, and here comes your second quarter.
He is fast. Start of the second quarter. B.J. Sams deep for the Ravens. bouncing inside the 20 and takes a Pittsburgh bounce back across the 25-yard line. It'll be marked out at about the 27. And there is a look at Hines Ward on crutches at the beginning of the week. And earlier this morning, before most of the players were out, stretching and just trying to see if he was game ready, Dan.
Yeah, he's got the knee heavily taped. He had the fluid drained out earlier this week. And he just, quite frankly, when we watched this before they had to declare their inactives, we were all wondering whether or not Hines Ward would be declared inactive today and not even play. And yet not only is he playing, so far he's producing.
From the 27, Jamal Lewis to about the 29.
Well, Brian Billick has taken over the play calling for the Ravens. This is the 5th game in doing so, and he was telling us that, you know, I used to be a teacher. As a coach, that's really what a coach is. You teach, and I loved the classroom. Well, then I became the principal, and as a principal, you're an administrator. And he said, now that I've gotten back into the classroom, so to speak, being the offensive coordinator, I am thoroughly enjoying myself and having fun reconnecting with my players. And the players they're getting a lot out of it as well, especially Steve McNair.
And we have markers flying. And this will go against Baltimore.
Offense, number 86, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, I mentioned how Steve McNair has been the beneficiary of Brian Billick's return. Take a look at those numbers there on the right-hand side. That is since Brian took over the play calling. His rating has gone up over 30 points. Everything has improved. And the people on this football team just, they like having Brian back.
Well, Brian Billick raised a few eyebrows when he dismissed Jim Fossil as his offensive coordinator, but the Ravens, to a man, cite confidence, renewed confidence in their offense. Here's Jamal Lewis rumbling ahead across the 30 to the 34-yard line. James Ferrier with the tackle, JB with the update from New York.
Hey, Greg, after being out a couple games with broken ribs, and I'm still admiring that, Willis McGahee makes good on this 4-yard run to score Buffalo on top of Jacksonville 4-0. Make that 7-0 in that one. I'm still thinking the 4-yarder, Greg. Greg and Dan.
Broken ribs, JB, a paper cut under the nail ruins my week.
I admire your honesty. Not necessarily your toughness, but your honesty.
There's no room for toughness. 3rd and 3. McNair throws outside. Heat, 1st down across the 40 and out of bounds.
Boy, it doesn't look like a whole lot, but that was nicely executed by Steve McNair. Take a look at the ball fake, and then with the pressure right in his face, he delivers just a perfectly soft ball right onto the hands of Todd Heap, who's being chased by Troy Polamalu. And by the time Troy gets there, there's absolutely nothing he can do. Pretty easy Baltimore 1st down.
From the 42. The pitch for Musa Smith to the outside. And Casey Hampton, the nose tackle, runs that play down.
Boy, are the Steelers bringing it. They are bringing a double blitz up the middle about half the time. And this is such a gap-controlled defense. They're accounting for every see. Look at them here. They come right up the middle. Here comes Foote. Here comes Ferrier right up the middle. So you know it's going to get bounced to the outside. You can't run into that blitz. And LeBeau had the corners covered and ends up being a losing proposition for the Ravens.
Neither of these teams is going to be shy about blitzing the other today.
No, I don't think so.
2nd and long. McNair, quick pass out to the near side to Demetrius Williams, and he reaches for the 43-yard line. Williams, a rookie wide receiver out of Oregon. Deshae Townsend made the stop.
Had a flag thrown by the umpire right up there at the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, chop block. Number 65, offense, 15-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
That's the rookie Chris Chester.
Well, he's playing right guard for Kedrick Vincent, who's out with a thigh injury, and that is a no-no. If the guy you're trying to block is already engaged by another guy, you cannot go for those lower legs. And 2nd and 27 is a down you don't practice a lot.
Go right.
Lewis and Mahaley in the backfield. This is Jamal Lewis. Room to run up the middle to the 33.
I like the leg action that Jamal Lewis is showing us so far. Going right in there behind Mahaley, his fullback, who gets a good block on James Ferrier. But really looks like some fresh legs by Jamal Lewis. And what he tells us, he said 25 carries is perfect.
Says would like to get it up to 25. He said, well, how about 30, 35? That's a little too much.
Yeah, he didn't show a lot of enthusiasm for 30.
3rd and 19, McNair with time. Now the short flip to Smith out of the backfield, and he's going to be rung up at about the 37-yard line. Joey Porter there, and Baltimore will kick.
Well, they had it going, a pretty good drive going offensively until that chop block by Chester knocked them back. That was a pretty fortunate break for the Steelers.
Pretty impressive opening drive by the Ravens, but things have been fairly even since then. Santonio Holmes back at his 15-yard line. High kick. Holmes from the 19, looking for running room across the 25 to about the 26-yard line. 10:02 to play. First half. McNair's touchdown pass, the only score on the board so far. And Hines Ward was called for a little unnecessary roughness, Dan.
Well, he's trying to get Gary Stills up off the pile. Stills doesn't like it. I don't blame him. Right here, Hines Ward with his left hand just pushes Stills back, but he does it by hitting his face mask. Not a punch, but he shoved him and hit his face mask, and that was enough. 15-yard penalty for the Steelers. It was a dead ball foul, so it remains 1st and 10.
But it backs the Steelers inside their own 15-yard line. Roethlisberger to throw. And down at the 5. Terrell Suggs, number 55. His 5th sack of the season.
Yeah, Terrell Suggs gets to clean up because pressure got him out of there. Here comes the rookie blitzing from the left-hand side. He's not a factor, but Ben Roethlisberger can't find anybody downfield, and he can't go outside when he flushed from the pocket. He's got to try to step up. Suggs there waiting.
2nd and 19. Little screen, falls short, incomplete, intended for Parker. 3rd and 19.
Yeah, Ben trying to loft that over the oncoming rush. You'll see that a lot. Falling backwards, it's just hard. You don't want to overthrow the guy because that's a sure interception or it gets tipped. But he just lobbed it and wasn't enough lob. It just hit the ground.
This Baltimore defense has 18 interceptions to lead the league.
Listen to this crowd.
Blitz coming. Roethlisberger still gets it away. It's incomplete. What a job by Roethlisberger to keep his feet.
Ben Roethlisberger standing a full yard in his end zone. Greg, you called it. Take a look at Corey Ivy, number 35. He's the first guy, but he overshoots Ben. And right there, Ben with guys at his feet. Bart Scott is down there. I don't think Scott realized if he could have just reached up, he could have grabbed Roethlisberger. And it looks like the Ravens are going to come out of this with pretty good field position.
B.J. Sams takes up a position at the Pittsburgh 45. Gardocki will kick out of his own end zone.
Pittsburgh better make sure that Sams doesn't run it back.
Short kick. And a Baltimore bounce. Back to the 35-yard line. We have a marker down back at the 5.
During the kick, holding number 34 of the return team. The penalty is 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down, Baltimore. Timeout.
We have 9:04 to play. Still a tight ball game. 7-0 Ravens.
Using all.
A lot of purple here in Baltimore. You look at the numbers for Roethlisberger and McNair. Steve McNair, 7 of 8 for 71 yards. And he goes to work from the Pittsburgh 47 rather, and McNair with time over the middle, and that's complete to Jamal Lewis out of the backfield, who bulls his way to the 42. Jamal Lewis wearing those gloves that he told us Danny began wearing the middle of last year.
Well, they almost he had a little trouble putting that ball away initially, but luckily he was able to secure it before he took the big hit from Larry Foote.
2nd and 5. Nice move at the line of scrimmage to the 35-yard line and knocked Ryan Clark back a yard and a half for making the tackle.
Well, it's all set up by the fact that Baltimore is doing so well on first down. There's Polamalu and Porter right beside each other on the line of scrimmage, but Joey gets run all the way inside by Todd Heap. And then you're right, Ryan Clark was not exactly in tackling position when he had to take on the big man Jamal Lewis and paid for it.
Clark is on the sideline. Tyrone Carter has replaced him at safety. First down from the 35. Lewis across the 30 to the 29.
And this is really hurting Pittsburgh right now, and that's Baltimore's ability to generate positive yardage on first down. I think if you know anything about football, you know how much easier a game it is to play offensively when you're positive on first down. The play calling becomes all that much easier. And again, we see a white shirt making a tackle who's being driven backwards by Jamal Lewis. That time it was Bryant McFadden.
Jamal Lewis listed at 5'11", 245. 2nd and 4. McNair throws the quick pop, and that's complete to Mark Clayton. Clayton to the 16. And a first down.
Well, Mark Clayton, even though he's just a second-year player, makes a veteran adjustment to the Pittsburgh blitz. The blitz is on. McNair realizes it in a hurry. So did Clayton. He broke off his pattern, and McFadden misses a tackle, and it's another big play for Baltimore. But that was a veteran play by a second-year player. These receivers want to produce for Steve McNair. That's the kind of leadership he brings.
Red zone numbers for the Ravens. First down. First back through is Mahaley. And Mahaley inside the 10 to the 7.
Well, that time Mahaley figures I'll just try to look like Jamal Lewis running the football. Again, talk about finishing a run. Getting great blocking at the line of scrimmage, okay? It's getting these guys into the second level. But look at the power and the breaking of tackles. This time it's Larry Foote, number 50. He's got the shoulder, the head, but not the arms, and he's unable to wrap up Ovi Mahaley.
On 2nd and 1. Mahaley again inside the 5 to the 3.
Well, Bill Cowher, he must recognize this kind of offense because he's been doing it to people for 15 years, and he's not used to seeing it done to him. He's not used to seeing his defense being rooted off the ball the way this Steeler defense is right now by the Baltimore Ravens.
From the 3, Lewis on his feet to the goal line. No call yet.
I don't think he got there. He was close, but he got stood up straight at about the 1 foot line. Again, nothing fancy right between the tackles. Oh, Ryan Clark, Polamalu's in there. Ferrier. It took 3 guys to stand him up straight.
2nd and goal.
Geez, I wonder if they'll run a reverse.
Lewis. Touchdown.
Dance with who brung you. That's the old saying. Stick to your go-to guy, and this time Jamal Lewis gets to finish it off. That was an impressive display of power football by the guys in purple.
Eight plays, 47 yards. The kick by Stover is perfect. 4:21 to play in the first half. Jamal Lewis's touchdown run makes it 14-0 Ravens. 47-yard drive in 4:43. Jamal Lewis's touchdown run has Baltimore up 14-0. And Najee Davenport is deep for the Steelers. Pittsburgh needs to find some kind of a spot. That doesn't help. Davenport goes back and picks it up, and he's dropped at the 12. 4:14 to play in the first half. On that last scoring run, Troy Polamalu says, oh no. He covers Monday's most watched show, becomes the most dangerous place on television. Don't miss a new episode of CSI Miami tomorrow here on CBS, America's #1 network. Noisy crowd just got noisier. First down, Pittsburgh at their own 12. They fake the pitch to Parker. Roethlisberger sidearms it to Hines Ward. Maybe a gain of 2 on the play.
Well, Baltimore has been all over everything Pittsburgh's trying to do. Look at the flow down the line of scrimmage. Willie Parker can't get upfield, and then it's been relentless pressure on Ben Roethlisberger as he's been sacked a couple of times. That's the second one right there. And talk about a defensive team that's playing at a very high energy level. They're feeding off this crowd.
Roethlisberger goes down. Third sack of the day, and Bart Scott was untouched.
Well, and Ben Roethlisberger is hurt. Bart Scott had only Willie Parker between himself and Ben Roethlisberger, and that didn't stop him. And what a violent hit Ben took.
Third time today, Roethlisberger has been sacked, and this one was pretty violent.
Now Bart Scott comes right off the edge. Right here at the bottom of your screen. Willie Parker went inside to try to block somebody in the middle. That left Bart Scott totally free. Willie comes back, but it's way too late. You don't know if he had his assignment down right or if Bart Scott was just a hot receiver. But you could see Ben Roethlisberger, who's already had a concussion, you could see his helmet bounce off the field. And there's a really good sign as he jogs off.
Charlie Batch will come off the bench. But Roethlisberger, you know, is a guy that people say still has not fully regained where he was a year ago, physically.
And look at Charlie's numbers. Remember, he quarterbacked them to an opening day victory, but a 136 quarterback rating, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Charlie has been in this position before and performed.
Charlie's looking at a 3rd and 17. They need the 22-yard line for a first down. Under pressure, short screen. This is Parker. Parker to the outside and is dragged down across the 15-yard line at about the 16. That will be well short of a first down, and the punting unit will come on.
No, but Charlie did his job under tremendous pressure. He was able to dump it off. At least Parker got some yardage and a little room for the punter.
B.J. Sams awaits at his own 45 for the Steelers. 5 possessions in this game, just 3 first downs, and this is their 5th punt. Sams at the 40. And to the 45. 2:48 to play first half. Bill Cowher looking for something, anything at this point.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 25 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down Baltimore.
Gene Steratore, our referee today. His brother, Tony Steratore, is also on the officiating crew.
He's the back judge.
That's Tony Steratore, the back judge. Literally has his brother's back.
Yeah, even the officials to try to keep their energy level up. Let's get going, guys.
Mike Anderson in the backfield as McNair goes to work from his own 25. Still with the football under pressure, throws, and that's complete to the 35. Todd Heap just puts the big hands out and snaps it out of the air for a first down.
Again, though, Steve McNair so calm, and he is throwing some strikes with Pittsburgh guys right in his face. Play was designed to come out of there a little cleaner, but he had pressure. But again, he delivers just the perfect football to Heap.
Boy, he has such terrific receivers to throw to. Heap and Clayton and Mason all putting up big numbers so far this season. This is Anderson to about the 39. And we come up on 2 minutes to play. 2 minutes to play in Baltimore. The Ravens, a 2-touchdown lead, and we're coming back after this.
James Brown.
I want to remind you, coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, JV, Dan, Shannon, Boomer have the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. On 2nd and 7, quick pitch out here to Demetrius Williams, and Williams diving for the first down and appears to have it. He is right at the first down marker at the 46-yard line. Tyrone Carter with the tackle.
And I'm surprised that they're not up at the line of scrimmage ready to go. Here they go. Get this club moving. You've got all 3 of your timeouts left, but don't be satisfied with just a 14-point lead.
McNair, 10 of 11 for 106 yards and looking for more here. Throws out and incomplete. And there's no receiver over there. There's a marker down in the secondary.
And right now, and there goes the intentional grounding flag thrown by Gene Steratore. It sure looked like Steve McNair was still in the pocket. See, the referee will take his time trying to figure out if there was a receiver over there. He'll ask, he'll even consult with the other officials. I think there are multiple fouls on this.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. While the quarterback was in the pocket, illegal contact, number 51 of the defense. Also intentional grounding, number 9 of the offense. Those penalties will offset, and we will replay first down.
So McNair, no, you can't say he got outside of the tackle at all. There's no one in that area of the field.
So Carter called for the illegal hands on the Steelers side, and that was pretty obvious that Steve just dumped that baby away.
So we'll do first down over again,
which is bad news for Pittsburgh.
first down. Clock continues to move, now stopping at 1:19 to play in the first half. Baltimore burns its first timeout.
When you take that field today.
Well, there's Pittsburgh's most productive passing combo. Hines Ward dealing with a bad knee. Ben Roethlisberger, we are told, sustained an injury to the chest, although his return is probable in the second half.
Well, a good sign was that just moments ago he was looking through the different offensive pictures from up above, looking at the formations, talking to the other quarterbacks. I suspect that he'll be back.
Each team with 2 timeouts remaining from the 41. The give is to Mike Anderson. Anderson inside the 40 to about the 37. 1:10 to play.
Right now, it's hard to play a better half than Todd Heap, the tight end, has been playing for Baltimore. 4 receptions, some great blocks. He's been everywhere, including a touchdown catch.
McNair play fake and has it battered back into his face by number 99, Brett Kiesel. It'll be 3rd and 7, and the clock stops with 56 seconds remaining.
Well, Steve was able to get away from the first rusher, but not the second, as Kiesel was right in his face.
We were talking with Jamal Lewis, who went to Tennessee. So you must have watched Steve McNair when you were in college. He said, I go all the way back to when I was a kid watching him throw the ball over the field at Alcorn State.
Remember how he used to just leave that pocket and run? What a transformation. He's truly just a pocket passer now.
That pass is incomplete. And here's a marker. Bryant McFadden guarding Mark Clayton.
Now, guarding him a little too closely.
Pass interference. Defense, number 20. Spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
And as we mentioned earlier, Bill Cowher made the change today, moving his corners around. He sat Ike Taylor down. He moved Townsend from over on the right side to the left side. He elevated McFadden to the starter. And McFadden and Deshae Townsend have had a tough half.
Say, to his dismay, McFadden has been a large part of the action today. 53 seconds to play. First down, Baltimore at the Pittsburgh 32. McNair eludes the rush, throws to the near side. That's complete to Justin Green, and Green hit at the 30. And the clock continues to move, and now timeout is called. The Ravens use their second TO.
My credit card miles.
As the Ravens approach field goal range, you look at Matt Stover, who is playing in his 250th career game today. 17-year vet out of Louisiana Tech.
And if the Ravens went no farther, it would be about a 47-yarder from where they are now.
Second and 8. The give is to Anderson, and Anderson inside the 30 to about the 27-yard line. And Brian Billick calls this timeout himself from the sideline to stop the clock with 32 seconds to play. Ben Roethlisberger, you know, he's anxious to get back into this game. Meanwhile, 3rd and 5. That little timeout to figure out what to do on this critical down here, Dan.
Well, try for a touchdown. You can go anywhere you want to go on the field, even without a timeout.
Going to give it straight ahead to Mike Anderson. Anderson inside the 20-yard line. They have no more timeouts. Clock continues to move.
Now, right here, I'd come out of here and take a shot. Why not? You got plenty of time.
And said, McNair spikes the ball and stops the clock with 17 seconds to play.
The defense wouldn't have been expecting it. Steve McNair could have dropped right back, tried to throw with 17 seconds stopped on the clock. You could really get up and spike it no matter where, even if you didn't get into the end zone.
Dan Deerdorf, you old quarterback, you.
No, but now if you're down around that 10, 11, 12 second mark, now you don't really have time to get all the way up there. You run the risk of getting caught with no time left on the clock.
Well, I think we can ask Dan Marino and the New York Jets about the value of expecting a spike and doing something else. 2nd and 10 from the 19. Play clock down to 0, and he got the snap off in time, going down the sideline and throwing it out of bounds. Pass intended for Demetrius Williams.
Well, that's the end of that. Here comes Stover. And that was a smart play by Steve McNair. Under the heavy rush, whatever you do, don't take the ball away from your field goal kicker. Toss it out of bounds and see if you can go in 17-0.
See, Matt Stover has been pretty reliable inside of 40 yards, and this one is going to come from 37 yards away. Placement is good, kick is good. And with 8 seconds to play in the first half, Baltimore stretches its lead to 17.
Well, when you look at this score of 17-0 that Matt Stover just capped off with this field goal, that really is representative of what has been going on down on the field. Baltimore has dominated on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Pittsburgh hasn't come close to scoring, and the Ravens have pretty much done what they wanted to do. It's not that they've embarrassed the Pittsburgh defense, but with power football, Greg, they've been taking it to them.
If you're Bill Cowher, where's your bright spot at halftime?
Well, first of all, we're going to have to see whether Ben Roethlisberger can shake off the effects of that huge hit that he took from Bart Scott. That's number one. And again, you're just going to have to try to put the ball in the hands of your big play people, which in this case for the Steelers, that's Willie Parker. Try to get it to him on screens, draws, whatever. Try to make something happen.
Well, 2 weeks ago, Pittsburgh trailed New Orleans at halftime and won. Last week, they trailed Cleveland at halftime and won. Najee Davenport going to field this one for the touchback. So 8 seconds remain here in the first half, and Ben Roethlisberger back onto the field for these final 8 seconds.
Well, I don't know how much more the Steelers can do right here than just kneel on the football. That's asking a little too much, I think, to ask Ben to throw an 80-yard touchdown pass with 8 seconds left.
So Roethlisberger takes the snap, takes a knee, and the teams will go to the locker room. Almost a perfect first half for these Baltimore Ravens. A Jamal Lewis rushing touchdown, a Steve McNair TD pass to Todd Heap, a Matt Stover field goal, and a 17-0 Ravens lead.
Well, you asked the question at the beginning of our show today, are the Ravens one of the best teams in football? That half, certainly they're playing the part.
The Ravens at 8-2. They lead it 17-0 at halftime. We're back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 41.
Wednesday.
Roethlisberger goes down.
And Ben Roethlisberger is hurt.
Lewis, touchdown.
That was an impressive display of power football by the guys in purple.
Welcome back to Baltimore, everyone. We're at halftime, 17-0 Ravens. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. We used that word impressive a couple of times during the first half. Unfortunately for the Steelers, it was always in reference to something the Ravens had done.
And it's, something we're not used to seeing, and that is the Pittsburgh defense being pushed around, and that's what happened by the Ravens, their offensive line. And I think that what Brian Billick told us yesterday when we talked to him, Greg, he said, we're in a position we don't have to rely on anybody else doing it for us. If we want it, we're just going to reach out there and take it. And right now they're acting like a football team that's taking what they want.
The first order of business is to find out where that guy gets his wardrobe.
He's got some beads on there, doesn't he? That's
Fortunately for our viewers, he and this game are brought to you in high definition TV.
Looked like his fashion designer was Mr. T on beads.
Baltimore gets the football first here in the second half. This is B.J. Sams from the 2. to the 20, outside, finally knocked out as he crosses the 30-yard line by Ryan Clark.
Well, as Greg mentioned a moment ago, it was all Baltimore in the first half. Great play from their all-pro tight end, Todd Heap. He had 4 catches, that beautiful touchdown reception there on a double move, getting by Deshae Townsend. Ben Roethlisberger under terrible pressure all day, the worst of the 3. That last one by Bart Scott towards the end of the first half. And then Jamal Lewis, his offensive line has been giving him holes, and then he has been finishing. We talked about earlier, it seems every time somebody in Pittsburgh's making a tackle, they're going backwards when they're doing it.
On first down, Jamal Lewis gets it started, and he is dragged down in the backfield by Joey Porter. You would think the priorities to start off the second half would have to be, number 1, a defensive stand for the Steelers to start things off, the status of Ben Roethlisberger, and then some kind of a scoring drive. Yeah,
if they could get a 3 and out, they could get any sort of a defensive stand. And Joey Porter right now, the crowd booed him a little bit, but Joey's just doing what he has to do. He's got to try to fire up this defense. They have got to make something happen. Can they force Baltimore into a mistake? Can they get a turnover? Can they at least force a punt and give their offense a chance?
On 2nd and 10, McNair throws, and that is to the 35-yard line. And once again, Todd Heap pulls it in despite the big hit from Deshae Townsend. We've talked about the importance of this game to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Backs against the wall. They refuse to discuss anything more than just the next upcoming game. You see the predicament they're in, all the teams that they'd have to battle just to begin thinking about a wild card.
And this is a Baltimore team, on the other hand, that is very openly talking about the fact that, hey, we're only a game behind Indianapolis in trying to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Brian Billick says, I don't want to talk about it a lot, but I like him to think about it.
On 3rd and 6, McNair finds time, and then the pass to Mike Anderson, short of the 40-yard line, well short of a first down, and there's the defensive stand the Steelers needed.
Boy, and what did they get the last 2 plays on 2nd and 3rd down? They got a short tackle from Deshae Townsend, the 1 corner, and then on 3rd down, it's Brian McFadden who comes in and makes the big hit. So that was not exactly representative of the kind of defense we saw the Steelers in the first half.
Santonio Holmes deep for the punt. That's a terrific kick by the rookie, Sam Cook. All the way back to the 6-yard line. Holmes looks for running room, spins out of 1 tackle across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. Ben Roethlisberger shaken up in the first half, took a knee to end the first half, and is ready to go back to work here. Look at that stat. That's more than 12 years. The offense has just been non-existent in the first half for Pittsburgh. But they have their best field position of the day starting at the 24-yard line. Parker. Nothing doing. Bart Scott.
They might be up to 36.5 yards after that run. Keep in mind, these are the defending Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers. They're not just another football team in the NFL. These guys all have big fat diamond rings saying Super Bowl champions. And right now they are in a real struggle to even make the playoffs this year. If they lose today, they can pretty much forget about it.
Roethlisberger throws out here, and Miller had it and dropped it.
Here's how tough it was for Pittsburgh in the first half. 7 plays on their 3rd possession, the most number of plays they ran. It was also their best drive with 29 yards. And just look at that, 5 punts and then a kneel down to end the first half. Total domination by the Baltimore defense.
Pittsburgh 0 for 5 on 3rd downs today. 3rd and 10. Roethlisberger throws incomplete. Pass intended for Nate Washington, and it'll punt.
Oh, and what a shot Ben took at the end of this. He stood in the pocket until the last minute trying to get the ball to Nate Washington. But watch right up the middle. Here comes pressure again. Dallas Thomas knocks him down. Well, I'll take it back. That wasn't as bad as I thought when I first saw it. Dallas Thomas unblocked, and he really did Ben Roethlisberger a favor. He pulled up in that last step or two and didn't hit him nearly as hard as he could have.
Gardocki the kick. He hasn't kicked well at all today. And this will take a Steeler bounce and roll inside the 35-yard line with 11:48 to play in the third quarter. Baltimore gets the ball back. Welcome back to Baltimore, where the Ravens have a 17-0 lead and the ball at their own 34-yard line. You were just surmising what Pittsburgh has to do on defense here, Dan.
Well, I think they've got to take some chances. They're going to have to really overload the line of scrimmage, assuming that Jamal Lewis is going to come after them really often. And you're right, they got 8 guys up there.
And throwing it out of bounds at midfield is McNair. We get an NFL Today update from JB in New York.
Hey, Greg, well, if you forgot that Carson Palmer can move, take a look here as he's running and finds T.J. Hushmanzada just before he ran out of real estate. 6-yard strike, 23-0 Cincy over Cleveland in the third. Greg and Dan.
All right, JB, so much for that fierce, huge rivalry in Ohio. AFC North, Baltimore with a comfortable lead. Cincinnati trying to close in on it and hoping for better things from the Steelers here in the second half. 2nd and 10. Lewis. Wrapped up at about the 35, and we get more from James Brown. Take it away, JB.
Hey, Greg, it's being answered for the Saints throughout the first half. Take a look at Drew Brees. 7 seconds left in the first half. Hail Mary that's answered. Shannon says, what is more valuable than gold? It's copper. Terrence Copper, 48-yard strike, 21-6. Saints on top of the Falcons. Back to Greg and Dan.
Hey, JB, you'll learn to discount a lot of things that Shannon says. Don't worry about it.
And the Atlanta Falcons, are they reeling or what?
Yeah, things are not going according to the plan.
The lug nuts have come loose.
McNair throws. That's complete to the 45-yard line. Derek Mason with the diving catch and a first down.
What a luxury for these Ravens to have 2 guys who are so comfortable with one another, who just transplanted themselves from Nashville to Baltimore, in Derek Mason and Steve McNair. Such a history together. They know each other inside and out. And Derek Mason, the silent, deadly receiver, who is so much better than most people. Take a look at that. Right? Would you ever imagine that since 2003, in receptions, he's 4th, in yards, he's 5th in the entire NFL?
Talk about being under the radar.
Oh, wow. You're right about that.
On first down, here comes the blitz. The run is Jamal Lewis up the middle, who bulls his way close to midfield. They'll line it up at the 49-yard line. Ferrier, Polamalu on the stop.
Again, you got to give some credit to this offensive line of Baltimore. They have really been getting it done today. Just good zone blocking right there, giving Jamal Lewis the opportunity to find the crease. He could have picked his crease anywhere from outside the right tackle to inside the left tackle. Here comes Troy Polamalu coming up there trying to finish it off. Ooh, look at that left elbow of Jamal Lewis. He gave it to Polamalu right in the ribs.
Polamalu again in on the stop, trying to drag Lewis down from behind. Oh, Brian Billick, you can count him as one of Polamalu's many fans. Remember, he was talking to us yesterday. He's a pure competitor. Pure competitor.
I asked Brian, I said, you get distracted sometimes watching the games that you just look at Polamalu? Great job there slicing inside of Derek Mason, who tried to cut him off, but he's a lot like Lawrence Taylor. You'd be watching the film, you'd be trying to get ready for the game. You'd want to be watching your own guy, but you were totally distracted by what number 56 was doing. And I think Polamalu's in that same category.
McNair on 3rd and 6, and a throw sideline off the hands of his intended receiver, Demetrius Williams, and then it'll force a punting situation for the Ravens.
And I think that's about the first time today where the football thrown by Steve McNair didn't go where he wanted it to go. He just threw it a little bit high. That would have been a surefire completion. Williams was in between the two, and that ball just floated on Steve.
Santonio Holmes at his own 10. Sam Cook, the 6th-round draft pick out of Nebraska, to punt it away. Fair catch at the 15. 8 minutes, 39 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Pittsburgh looking for a spark, any kind of a spark. It has been an impressive defensive display by the Ravens, a very unimpressive offensive display. Pittsburgh just 37 total yards as they go to work now from their own 16-yard line. Roethlisberger throws far side, and that is complete to Hines Ward.
You know something about Baltimore, talk about running uphill here for Pittsburgh. The Baltimore Ravens have not given up a touchdown in the 3rd quarter this entire season. They've allowed only 6 points in 10 football games, this being number 11. That's getting it done.
There's a rare first down for the Steelers, only their 4th of the day. Now from the 27, Parker to the 30. And we have 8 minutes to play. Willie Parker, a much better running back at home in Pittsburgh than he has been on the road.
You can see Willie Parker only 19 yards today on 8 carries.
Roethlisberger up and down the line with the play clock now at 6. And we get a whistle and a marker.
And did somebody false start? Yeah, I think somebody false started.
False start. Offense. Number 66. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, there's Willie Parker and his performance at home and on the road, and look at the difference. More than twice as much yardage at home, averaging 128 yards a game this year. The yards per carry, 2.5 yards better. It has not very often that you see that big a difference between a running back's production.
He's like another guy on the road. 2nd and 12 now from the 25. Roethlisberger again under the gun, but delivers to the 35 and complete to Nate Washington. How many times today have we seen defenders coming in untouched against Roethlisberger?
Well, this time Corey Ivy, number 35, was coming in off the corner, and Ben waited until the extreme last second to deliver it. Excellent work on his part.
Parker makes the turn and is cut down at about the 38-yard line by Bart Scott.
Let's go back and look at that last pass completion to Washington. Right here on the bottom, 35 is Ivy. Totally unblocked. Ben doesn't see him. Now he catches him out of the peripheral vision as he's looking downfield, and he's able to spin out of there. But again, good job by Ben, waiting until the last second to deliver the ball.
Again from the shotgun, eludes the pressure, still on the move, throws far side, incomplete. Heath Miller is intended receiver.
Yeah, good job that time of DeJuan Landry, the rookie strong safety who was right with Miller. And even though Ben bought some extra time, Landry's coverage kept it from being a completion.
The Ravens appear to be doing a terrific job of mixing up on defense as to who's coming and who isn't.
Well, like they're not good enough under ordinary circumstances. Stake them to a 17-0 lead, and it's almost lethal how good they are.
Roethlisberger up the seam, and it's caught at the 35-yard line by Nate Washington.
And what a great job by Nate Washington, knowing there is no way when the safety is deep that you're not going to take a big hit when you catch the football. And that time, DeJuan Landry laid him out, but Nate Washington held on. Super job.
Once again, Roethlisberger to the line without a huddle.
You could see Jeff Hardings, the center, pointed something out to Ben.
Play clock is down to 5. Through 4, 3, 2, 1, and he gets the snap off. On the slant, that is complete, and he lost the football. To Hines Ward, and it's ruled incomplete.
That was some piece of work by Ben Roethlisberger of managing what's going on, changing everything, and then he throws a nice ball there to Hines Ward. Could have been a little lower, but Hines, how many steps did he take after he caught that football?
The fans want Brian Billick to challenge it. Brian Billick has the penalty, has the challenge marker in hand, and he threw it.
Yeah, Hines Ward caught that ball cleanly, and he was in the act of making a football move and running and putting the football away at the same time.
About the only time that you will see an opposing coach hope for a ruling of a completed pass.
Excellent point. Let's take a look at it from this angle. The ball's high. He snatches it right there, goes to put it away. That is really, really close. You're supposed to be able to come down with the ball, establish another football move, which means putting it away and taking a step or two.
I think, Dan, from the time he took that ball at the top, it went right through him all the way down to the bottom.
Well, keep in mind that the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
There is no challenge on the play. The ruling is incomplete, and it's second down.
Yeah, Gene Steratore, the referee, would have had to see absolutely conclusive evidence that he caught it and put it away and was a completed catch. And I don't think there was any way that was going to happen with what we saw.
Hines Ward, you saw him studying the stadium scoreboard screen.
You know, it's just hard for Hines Ward to be saying, oh, I dropped it.
You know, Bill Cowher probably wants to know why he didn't go through with that challenge since the flag was thrown.
You can read his lips. He said he challenged it. And I think it's a good question.
Second down. Here comes another rush, and that one's incomplete. This time, the pressure came from behind Roethlisberger.
At the last second before the pressure by Bart Scott, it's a good throw by Ben, but Corey Ivey just perfect coverage. Absolutely perfect coverage by Ivey.
3rd and 10, and the pressure on Roethlisberger has been incredible. On the slant, incomplete. Markers down in the secondary.
Well, Santonio Holmes was the intended receiver.
Illegal substitution, 12 men, defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
You know, that does make playing defense a lot easier, Dave.
Well, fortunately for Baltimore, it's one of the penalties that is yardage only. It does not involve an automatic first down. Ben Roethlisberger, though, has been finding some holes in the Baltimore defense running slant patterns. They've been getting in front of the safeties, and with 3-step drops, he's been delivering the ball pretty quickly.
9th play of this drive. Pump fake, hit from behind, loose football picked up by the Ravens. Abdelis Thomas on the move to the end zone for a touchdown. 57 yards. Corey Ivy has spent the better part of this second half in the Pittsburgh backfield, and he was there again.
Ben with the pump fake, oblivious to the pressure coming from behind. Clearly, Ivy hit him before Ben started the throwing motion. Gene Steratore, the referee, saw it, did not call incomplete pass. And one word defines Ben Roethlisberger's afternoon here: pressure. He has been under pressure every time he's gone back into the pocket.
The turnover is Pittsburgh's 28th of the year. That's the most in the National Football League. The extra point is good. Dallas Thomas, 270 pounds.
Well, he got a perfect hop right to him. The only guy who had a chance was Big Ben. No chance. The big guy's gone.
Record, and with so many teams in the playoff hunt, the end of a postseason chase. Najee Davenport from the 5. 25. And out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. What a defensive.
Well, that's Rex Ryan, the defensive coordinator of the Ravens. If a shutout isn't good enough, how about a TD to boot?
Boy, there's no one in this stadium who's hating what's happening more than Joey Porter, who was so fired up prior to this game. He said, "I know they hate me, and I love that they hate me." Roethlisberger throws outside. That's Heath Miller. And Miller, looking for a first down, is close to it on the far side of the field.
Well, Pittsburgh doing the only thing that's left to them, and that's go no huddle. Try to make something happen. Still got 19 minutes and 20 seconds of football left.
Had some ability to move the football the last time they had it, until disaster struck in the form of the fumble and the return for the touchdown.
Well, shorter sets, quicker deliveries will help.
Roethlisberger on the move, throws and completes it across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Nate Washington pulling it in. You know, Dan, I don't know that we've seen quarterback pressure on anyone like this all season long.
This has been relentless. Great game plan by the Ravens defensively. And quite frankly, they're winning a lot of the one-on-one matchups to get them to the quarterback.
First down, and here they come again. Pump fake. He's not going to get rid of it. Trevor Price, 5th sack of the day on Roethlisberger. Price's 5th sack in the last 5 games.
Well, the most fatiguing pressure for a quarterback, again, up the middle. There's Ray Lewis coming. Ray Lewis totally unblocked. Ray not able to finish the deal. Ray misses him, but by the time that Ben gets away from Lewis, Trevor Price there waiting for him. But again, pressure up the middle, unblocked pressure up the middle, virtually impossible for a quarterback to do anything with.
Now on 2nd and 20. Screen, Parker. Parker looking for running room and works his way out to about the 38-yard line.
You know the way this has been going for Ben Roethlisberger when he's attempted to get the ball downfield. When that call came in from the sidelines for a screen pass, you know there's a part of him that went, "Thanks."
You betcha.
Thank you very much. I'll take a screen. The only thing better than that might have been a draw.
And the complete opposite of that is, oh no, pump fake?
Yeah.
3rd and 15.
They're pointing out Ray Lewis being way back there.
It's only a 3-man rush now. Roethlisberger over the middle. Almost intercepted at the 35-yard line.
Ed Reed won't get many chances like that. One of the best safeties in football has this pass from Roethlisberger bounce right off his chest. Look at that. Ed pretty upset with himself. not going to get many opportunities that easy.
Interceptions have been the specialty of this defense this year. Last week, the first week of the season that they didn't pick one off, and they haven't picked Roethlisberger yet today. Came close. Gardocki. And here's B.J. Sams. Going to run this one back from the 15. And a penalty marker's down.
Block in the back, right in front of the official.
So here's Gene Steratore with the call.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 58 of the return team. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down, Baltimore.
That'll back the Ravens up. We go to JB in New York.
Hey, Greg and Dan, Willis McGahee's return has lifted the spirits of all the Buffalo players, including putting an extra pep in the step of Roscoe Parrish on his punt return. Take a look, fellas. Talk about a little juice. 82-yard punt return for Buffalo. Buffalo is a team many don't want to see down the stretch. 24-14, Buffalo on top of Jacksonville. Greg and Dan.
All right, JB, thank you. And Jacksonville looking up at Indianapolis, can't afford to lose any more ground. McNair to the near side. Todd Heap, and Heap close to the 10-yard line.
This crowd starts yelling Heap when the ball's still in the air. They don't even wait to see if he's going to catch it or not. Pretty savvy group here, and a testament to how popular Todd Heap is here in the Baltimore area, and why not?
Pretty sure hands on the tight end out of Arizona State.
There's that guy there, the number 86 jersey. When Todd caught the touchdown pass in the first half, he handed him the football.
3-yard pickup, 2nd and 7, and here comes Musa Smith. Smith out to the 13-yard line. Ben Roethlisberger has not had a great day.
Well, and this
not
is
a great season.
No, he had 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns in a game against the Raiders, and then in this game against Cleveland last week, a bad bounce. That got ran back for a touchdown, and then of course now a fumble that Adalys Thomas picks up and runs back. And it has been so many good things have happened to Ben Roethlisberger his first 2 years in the National Football League, and this third one, starting with the auto accident on his motorcycle back in the spring, one to forget.
This quick little toss to Todd Heap as McNair goes down hard inside the 5-yard line, courtesy of Joey Porter.
Well, that did not get a first down, but an A+ to Steve McNair for awareness. He senses this blitz, and talk about getting rid of it at the last second. He's already been hit by Joey Porter, and he's still able to dump the ball off to Todd Heap.
And it doesn't appear the Ravens will be in a hurry to get this kickoff before the third quarter expires. That's the end of 3. Baltimore leads at 24-0. We're back after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS. Along with Dan Deerdorf, Greg Gumbel back in Baltimore for the start of the fourth quarter. And the Baltimore offense begins inside, or rather the kick comes from inside the 15-yard line. This is Santonio Holmes from the 32 and cut down at the 38-yard line. Gives us a moment to remind you that coming up tonight on 60 Minutes, the testing of a new pill for the memory. The results could change millions of lives. It's a story you won't forget on 60 Minutes, followed by a new episode of The Amazing Race and Hallmark Hall of Fame's Candles on Bay Street. That's all tonight on CBS, America's #1 network.
The officials just in the midst of separating some players from both teams. A little pushing and shoving going on. There wasn't nothing flagrant happened. No flag was thrown or anything. But again, a lot of bad blood between these two teams. Thinking back to yesterday, Ray Lewis said, when the whistle blows, it won't be pretty. This is really one of the better and one of the more heated rivalries in the NFL.
Well, the Steelers had themselves a 54-yard drive that ended in the fumble return for the touchdown by Baltimore. 54 yards in that drive. Their other 8 drives have totaled 31 yards today. Roethlisberger to throw. Far side. That's complete. Cedric Wilson. Out of bounds right at the first down marker, just shy of midfield.
Again, Ben's bringing his team to the line of scrimmage. I don't think we'll see a huddle out of the Steelers for the balance of the game.
Willie Parker with 21 rushing yards has not been a factor today. This is Parker. Barely to midfield. Chris McAllister with the stop.
And boy,
I'm sorry, Dan.
And I was just going to say, that tells you a little something about how aggressively Baltimore continues to play defense. Your call, Chris McAllister making the stop, a corner, making a stop on a draw play. I think Rex Ryan is still coming at the Steelers with everything he's got.
Second and 9 from midfield. Pass out to the side. That's complete to Najee Davenport. And Davenport with a first down. And a penalty marker flies on the far side of the field. Ray Lewis involved over there.
Well, did he tackle him by the back of the shoulder pad? Or was it late because it was out of bounds?
After the play, personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds. Number 52 of the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Oh, boy. I mean, Ray Lewis is... That hardly seems worthy of a personal foul.
In a game that is so hard-hitting all over the field, that seems almost incidental. First down from the 25. Roethlisberger pump fakes, too late, goes down, loose ball, and covered by the Steelers. 6th sack of the day for the Ravens.
And again, Ben Roethlisberger tries a pump fake. And I can tell you right now, those kind of patterns, Adalys Thomas, who ran back the fumble recovery for a touchdown, those kind of patterns take too long. Roethlisberger is not having that kind of time in the pocket. It's just not there.
2nd and 13. Here they come. Throws far side. That's complete and out of bounds just inside the 15-yard line to Cedric Wilson. We go to JB in New York.
Hey, Greg and Dan, a former Pittsburgh Steeler on the scoring end for the Skins. Jason Campbell here with a little time, hooking up with Antoine Randall, a 4-yard strike. First touchdown in this one, 10-6. Skins on top of Carolina. Greg and Dan.
All right, JB, you know, much is made as we look at the standings in the NFC South. Of all the guys the Steelers lost from that championship team of a year ago, Randall L. is certainly a key. On first down, Roethlisberger for the corner of the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Wilson, and on the coverage was McAllister.
And, of course, the retirement of Jerome Bettis. Even when you talk to the Ravens, they talk about the fact they're delighted that Bettis is gone. Even though the last year Willie Parker was the primary back in the Pittsburgh offense, Jerome was still able to come in the fourth quarter, bring the fresh legs. He was there for short yardage. Such great locker room presence. They're glad he's gone. Good riddance, according to the Ravens.
First red zone possession of the day for the Steelers. Roethlisberger throws and overthrows, and the intended receiver batted up and incomplete. It was a bit too high for Hines Ward, and as we made a point earlier, it's tough for him to elevate. And now Trevor Price on the ground.
Yeah, Samari Rolle had the coverage, and we'll be back in Baltimore after they look at Trevor Price.
You need some help?
Yeah. Could you give me a jump?
Sure. Give it a try. Try giving it some gas.
Walk off the field under his own power. He has been replaced by Jarrett Johnson. 3rd and 10. 8th play of this drive. Pittsburgh just 1 out of 9 on 3rd down today. Roethlisberger goes down at the 20. 7th sack of the day. We have a marker down.
That flag came in right at the very end of the play.
Well, till we get the word from Gene Steratore, 7 times sacked would be a career high for Roethlisberger. That's a number you don't want to keep eclipsing.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, defense, number 96. Their penalty is declined. Also during the play, holding, defense, number 21. It's a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Chris McAllister strongly disagreeing.
Well, you can see working against Cedric Wilson. I don't know how I can disagree with that. Cedric Wilson went to break to McAllister's outside shoulder. He reached out with his left arm and hooked it.
So it's a 1st and goal for Roethlisberger and the Steelers at the 10-yard line. Another blitz. Roethlisberger. Incomplete pass. Or no, sacked back at the 20.
Ray
He held
Lewis.
onto it.
Ray Lewis. We saw him come on the blitz last series. Ben made him miss. No such luck for Roethlisberger this time.
But for a moment, Roethlisberger got rid of it, but no, pulled it back down right there, and then he went down.
He should have thrown it, even if he just threw it to the equipment man.
7 sacks of Roethlisberger.
He has had no semblance of a pocket all day.
This one is complete to the 10-yard line. Nate Washington with the catch.
Check that out. You think he's going to need a spot in the hot tub tomorrow? 7 sacks, 13 hurries, 8 knockdowns. Rex Ryan right there has spun off a gem of a game plan.
3rd and goal. Roethlisberger to the end zone, and that's incomplete. Nate Washington appeared to juggle it across the goal line, and then it spun free.
I think Ben put it right on his hands. That should have been a Pittsburgh touchdown.
Oh, that's a terrific pass.
Sure is. Right inside traffic. Guys on the left and the right. Big Ben delivered a strike.
4th and goal.
And this crowd is acting like it's a 7-7 ball game.
Can they get this play off in time? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Timeout called. He did get the timeout. Roethlisberger got the call just in time. Back to noisy Baltimore after this. Points a game, looking at a possible 2nd shutout of the season. Back in '89, they were shut out 3 times that year. 4th and goal. Roethlisberger on the run, goes down.
Dell doesn't just keep our business running. Dell keeps it growing. Because Dell technology is easy.
It shows that the Baltimore Ravens are more in control of this game than the score would indicate when Kyle Bowler is inserted into the game in relief of Steve McNair with 10:43 to play. And he's going to throw to the near side. Mahaley out of the backfield and out across the 20-yard line. Let's go back to that last play.
Well, imagine this on 4th down. Ben Roethlisberger can't find anywhere. I thought he could have run with the ball, but he made the decision that he could not run a Dallas Thomas. And then comes the sack, and yep, nobody more concerned and interested than defensive coordinator Rex Ryan. A lot of football yet to be played, but the shutout lives.
8 sacks of the quarterback by the Ravens defense today. Remember, 1 was nullified by penalty. Musa Smith. And Smith across the 25 to about the 27-yard line.
And of all teams to be doing this against, the hated Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, the Steelers, we said it earlier, their backs against the wall. This is what's ahead of them. Home to Tampa and Cleveland, travel to Carolina, home to these Ravens, and then they travel to Cincinnati to finish out the regular season. But a loss today lowers their record to 4-7 and severely diminishes their postseason hope.
9-7 for Pittsburgh won't get it done. That will not get them in the playoffs.
Bowler throwing the near sideline. Nice throw. And right there to get it was Derek Mason.
It is so hard to repeat. And here we're looking at the teams that not only didn't repeat as champions, they did not even make the playoffs the following year. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, if in fact that does happen to them here in 2006, would make 3 teams in the last 6 years that failed to make the playoffs after holding that Lombardi trophy high above. That's quite a fall.
On 1st down, first back through is Mahaley. And you saw Bill Cowher there on the sideline. Certainly with a loss here, the conversation is going to pick up as far as Bill Cowher's future in Pittsburgh.
Well, there's obviously a lot of talk about Bill Cowher when he didn't extend his contract with the Steelers, as he customarily does before the start of this season. He said, we'll wait till the season's over and then we'll see what's going on. And it's going to be very interesting. And it's going to become a hot topic down the stretch for the Steelers now that it looks like the playoffs are a real long shot. You can't say mathematically they're eliminated because they're not, but it is one heck. The odds are really long on the Steelers making the playoffs.
And the mountain's getting bigger every day. A look once again at the AFC North. Baltimore, a win today would give them a 9-2 mark. Pittsburgh would fall to 4-7.
That's called a stranglehold on the division. And what Baltimore, talking to them, they've got their goals set high. They're looking at the Colts and the fact that they only have 1 loss.
Out here into the flat to Mike Anderson, and Anderson is hit shy of the 45-yard line.
You know, Brian Billick said, look, I'm not putting it up on the board. We're not posting all of this and all that. I want to concentrate on the task at hand, which is playing a game every week. But he's not so naive as to think his players don't talk about it, and he encourages that. Hey, I want them to think big. I want them to think about lofty things. I want them to think about going back to the Super Bowl. And certainly the addition of that guy has made it a hot topic in the locker room. Man, Steve McNair has energized this entire franchise.
We get a whistle on the field and a timeout called by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's look ahead to the Baltimore Ravens and see what's down the road for them. Starting at next week at Cincinnati, then traveling to the suddenly hot Kansas City Chiefs before coming home to play Cleveland and Buffalo with a trip to Pittsburgh sandwiched in between.
Well, that game Cincinnati is Thursday night, so what a tough deal having to play 2 big division games in a span of 5 days. Although this is a real break for the Ravens in getting ready for a Thursday game that they're not having to go down to the wire in a real tight ball game.
Reason right there to give Steve McNair a 10-minute breather for the remainder of the quarter.
Absolutely right. Jamal Lewis can sit this one out. You're Ray Lewis. I'd get these guys over on the sidelines. Shutouts are nice, but that game Thursday's the next big thing.
Santonio Holmes awaits the punt. And Holmes with two arms waving, fair catch at the 21-yard line. 6:56 to play. Ben Roethlisberger's going to have purple nightmares tonight.
Oh, there's a spot.
That's for sure. Nice work, buddy. Hang on.
Oh, I can't get out.
I got it.
Get any new Dodge, like the all-new Nitro, equipped with a Sirius satellite radio, and you'll get a 12-month subscription to the best radio on radio.
Whoops.
He came from nothing and redefined the American dream.
I buried those cockroaches.
His enemies wanted him dead.
Say hello to my little friend.
But Tony Montana doesn't die that easy.
All right, so with Buffalo now, 5 straight wins will be in the book for them. We take you now to a more competitive contest. Jacksonville at Buffalo, Iron Eagle, Solomon Wilcox.
We are in the 4th. Buffalo trying to hold on at home against Jacksonville. And a flag comes down. This play whistle dead. With 1:37 on the clock.
Prior to the snap, false start. 87 out there. Wow. 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
That's an instant replay. Back-to-back plays. George Reister, who had a drop over the middle, and then 2 false start penalties back-to-back for Jack Del Rio squad.
Oh, you talk about there being a learning curve when it comes to winning. Young ball players understanding on the road in the 4th quarter, you have to maintain your composure at moments like this and be able to make the play for your football team.
So now Jacksonville is staring at a 3rd and 20. Shotgun, here comes the rush. Dump off, Maurice Jones-Drew creating after the catch and spun down by McGee for Buffalo. 1:28 and counting left in this 4th quarter.
Jacksonville looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down, taking a shot at the end zone. You don't necessarily have to get into the end zone to pick up the 1st down.
On 4th and 14, Garrard, here's your ball game. Steps up, Garrard looking to run for it. David Garrard battling for the 1st down. Oh, what a play by Garrard. Inside the 10, and Jacksonville is alive.
It's just sheer determination, and he was smart. He saw some of the defensive backs turn their backs to him, and so he took off and ran with it. How many quarterbacks do you know who can make that play on 4th down?
Jaguars still have 2 timeouts to work with. They haven't called one though. Down to 42 seconds left. Handoff. Maurice Jones-Drew turns it upfield. And battling for yardage inside the 5. Angelo Crowell will be given credit for the stop. It's a 4-yard gain and a timeout taken. 34 seconds remain. Jacksonville looking for the equalizer. David Garrard is 8-4 overall as a starter in the NFL. Byron Leftwich had surgery on his ankle on Tuesday down in Birmingham, Alabama. He is out indefinitely. David Garrard is running this offense for Jacksonville, and he faces a 2nd and goal down by 7. 34 seconds remain.
Now, you like to be able to power it in with your run game because they have run the ball very well down inside the red zone today. But with only 1 timeout, you have to really be very discriminatory in terms of how you're going to use that timeout.
Double tight end set. We know Garrard is capable of doing it himself. On a 2nd and goal, Garrard timing pattern up in the air. It's caught. Matt Jones. Touchdown, Jacksonville. The Jaguars are an extra point away from tying it up in Orchard Park.
It's the matchup we had talked about a few plays earlier. the 5'9" Terrence McGee, who's a really good cover guy, matched up against the 6'6" Matt Jones. And it's a wonderful, well-thrown ball from David Garrard, putting the ball in perfect placement where Matt Jones can make a play on it. Now, Terrence McGee doesn't turn around. Now, he sees the ball, but it's just way out of his reach as Matt Jones comes down with it.
Josh Scobie has had some problems here today, but he splits the uprights to tie this one up at 24. All knotted up in upstate New York. Injuries and then going through a rut with the drops. Last week, David Garrard went right back to Jones after a false start, showing his confidence in it. Here's Buffalo on the return. Terrence McGee slowed down and finally brought down at the 40-yard line by D. Webb with 22 seconds remaining. So Lossman will at least have an opportunity to get it down the field and get the Bills into field goal range for a possible game winner.
They've been accustomed to dialing up number 83 for big plays, but it was last week in the come-from-behind win after completing a 55-yard game-winning drive that he went to the other side. Peerless Price is also an option for J.P. Lawson.
Buffalo needs about 27 yards to attempt a 50-yard field goal. 22 seconds remain. We're tied up. 24-24. Lossman on first down, throwing to Roscoe Parrish. And makes his move to the outside, gets out of bounds with 17 seconds remaining. And a 6-yard gain. Lindell getting ready along the sideline for Buffalo.
And keep in mind, there is a slight wind in the stadium, and it would be at the back of Ryan Lindell. So he's going to get some help on this one. As you see that target line, I think there's an excellent opportunity, but they have to be able to make a play here.
His season long is 53 yards. They still need a chunk of yardage here. Lossman steps up. Lossman throwing on the move. Catch made. Roscoe Parrish. Jacksonville claims it was out of bounds.
Well inside your target line. Wind at your back. 10 seconds left. Let's take a look at the play. Lossman does an excellent job of staying alive and does not take off running for it. And how about the catch by Roscoe Parrish with two tight toes on that sideline, pulling in the reception.
They're going to take a look at this one upstairs. Under 2 minutes. They can take a peek.
Play is going to be reviewed.
10 seconds remain, and a big decision from the replay booth coming.
IBM presents a special look at the NFL. Arizona's retractable field, the league's first, innovatively allows the grass to be grown outside, creating the optimal playing surface inside.
Only 4 amazing race teams are left, and the beauty queens are on everyone's hit list. Will the other teams abandon them to a dangerous mob?
Let's get in the car. Come on.
Good luck, blondies. A new amazing race. CBS tonight after 60 minutes.
10 seconds remain. Jerry Austin is going to take a peek at this. Remember, they have to have evidence to overturn it if indeed this play is coming back. It was called complete on the field, and that's a big key here.
All right, Ian, with your eagle eye, you get to play the analyst. Do you think he catches this one inbounds?
I do. I think he got his tippy toes in.
I think you grade out very high, my man. I agree with you. I think he gets 2 feet inbounds, and I think he catches the ball. And I don't know that I see anything that would overturn the call on the field.
That is a tremendous play by Parrish, considering the circumstances, and Lossman put it where it had to be as well.
I'll give Lossman a lot of credit. This would be his second game-winning drive in consecutive weeks if this call holds up and they're able to convert the field goal.
I feel like he got the tippy toes down. They just showed it on the big screen here in Buffalo.
And look at the official is right on top of it. I don't know that we would have to second guess what he sees. He's standing right there. He can see it better than any of us.
And he was looking down. He was in the perfect position to make that play. If it stands, Buffalo will have a chance to win this in regulation.
After reviewing the play, the call on the field stands as completed pass.
Roscoe Parrish Solomon Parrish had not caught a pass in 4 games. He made the special teams play earlier. And now Buffalo will run one more play to the middle of the field to set it up for Ryan Lindell. You're looking at about a 42-yard attempt. Lossman will run it. They have the one timeout to work with, and they'll use it. Timeout is called. 3 seconds left.
Slight wind at his back. There's no doubt that he will have enough leg. It's well within his range. Can he keep it between the uprights? And can you get the protection up front? Because we talked about the tall timber of John Henderson and Marcus Stroud, their ability to get up and be able to not only block passes from the backfield, but kicks as well.
Ryan Lindell, 7-year NFL veteran. And a chance to put Buffalo into the win column. A 42-yard attempt. The Bills 4-6. Jacksonville 6-4. Important game for the Jaguars and their playoff hopes. Mormon will hold it. Schneck will snap. For the win, Ryan Lindell 42 yards away for Buffalo. He's got it. Buffalo wins it at home over Jacksonville. Roscoe Parrish, the hero. And a bitter loss for Jack Del Rio and the Jaguars.
Oh, it's like a jump shot. This one was good when it left, Ian. Ryan Lindell, he knew it, and so did Jacksonville.
Dick Geron's team in back-to-back weeks. Some late game drama. And the Bills 5-6 after the W. Jack Del Rio and the Jaguars fall to 6-5. A mistake-plagued 10-penalty day for the Jaguars. That's your final. Buffalo 27, Jacksonville 24. So for Solomon Wilcots, this is Ian Eagle. So long from Orchard Park. The Bills win it on a 42-yard field goal from Ryan Lindell. James Brown in New York. He's coming up with the rest of the gang. The Subway postgame show after these messages.